Hi, Kim Dodsworth, Queensland storyteller. George Ivanoff of Melbourne has adapted and shortened one of his stories especially for our program today. The story Game Plan is fantasy, pure and simple, of the most enjoyable kind. To learn more about George's work, you can check his website www.gamersquestbook.com. I'll repeat George's website at the end of the story.
"I got this lot from a princeling," said the boy as he emptied a small pouch of gold and silver coins. "I also took this here weapon." He pulled back his tattered cloak to reveal a sheathed sword. "Big deal," huffed the girl. "Oh, Zyra, this here ain't no normal sword. It's a sword of light."
The girl's green eyes narrowed.
"What's some snivelling princeling doing with one of them?"
"Dunno," the boy shrugged.
"'Course you know what this means." "The big bag?"
"Yep," he patted the sword hilt.
"With one of these babies, I'll be able to go a dragon and win its stash. I loves you, Tark."
Tark rushed forward and grabbed Zyra, running a hand through her spiky black mohawk.
"I loves you too."
"Oi!" Tark shouted as he approached the cave.
"Dragon, you in there?"
Silence.
"Bring out your gold. I's here to take it from you."
A deep rumble came from the cave, and a wisp of grey smoke smothered Tark. He quickly drew his cloak up around himself. A small burst of flame shot right at him. Tattered though it was, his cloak had enough power to protect him from the heat. As Tark peered out from behind his cloak, the dragon emerged. He had imagined a gargantuan beast with smouldering eyes, smoking nostrils, and enormous bursts of fire spewing from its mouth. But this dragon was only about twice Tark's size. Its eyes were round and blue, its scales azure and shimmering, its snout short and somewhat squishy-looking. It was hardly what he would call fierce. Cute seemed a more apt description.
"What kind of dragon is ya?" asked Tark.
"What kind of knight are you?" retorted the dragon.
"I'm not. I's a thief."
"Lords of fire, preserve us," sighed the dragon. "What has our little forest world come to, when a common cut-purse with delusions of grandeur comes to steal from a mighty dragon?"
"Yeah, well," said Tark, "you don't look too mighty from where I's standing."
"You're not standing, you're cowering," declared the dragon.
"Where's your bag of gold?" demanded Tark.
Where do you think it is, you moron? It's in my cave." The dragon swung back onto his hind legs. He suddenly looked a lot larger. He raised his front paw and flexed it. 3 razor-sharp talons popped out like cat claws. The dragon grinned widely, revealing a double row of yellowed, pointy teeth. "I'm bored now," he growled. Tark flung back his cloak and drew his sword. Dazzling light erupted from the blade. Half blinded, he tried to hold on, but it was as if the sword of light had a mind of its own. "Hang on," yelled the dragon. "You're not meant to have one of those. There—" But the blade, with Tark in tow, had found its target, embedding itself deep in the dragon's chest. Engulfed in light, the dragon burned away from the inside till only a few charred scales remained.
"Now who's cowering, you snot rag?"
spat Tark before running into the cave to retrieve his prize. Zyra removed her red leather jacket, carefully folded it and placed it under the covering leaves of a bush. Her remaining clothes were black, sleek and skin-tight, much more appropriate for what she was about to do. With seemingly little effort, Zyra scaled the brick wall, backflipped over the razor wire and landed, cat-like, on the lawn. With barely a pause for breath, she sprinted to the first of the topiary gargoyles that dotted the grounds. From there, she slowly made her way to the mansion, gargoyle by gargoyle, making sure to avoid the ground-level trip lasers that criss-crossed the lawn. One false step and she could lose a foot. Zyra used her throwing stars to dispatch the 3 guards who patrolled the exterior of the mansion.
Then, with 2 pieces of wire, she picked the lock on the servants' entrance and slipped inside. A heavy saucepan made short work of the cook and butler, and her beloved knives took care of the interior guards. She tiptoed up the stairs, snuck into the museum room, and went straight for the safe behind the portrait of the fat man. She removed her gloves and put her hands on the safe. She took a deep breath, concentrating on the feel of the safe, and oh so carefully turned the tumblers. Left 2, right 5, left 1, pause, left 1 again, right 3, click. Damn, I is good. Zyra smiled as she reached into the safe and grabbed the key. A heavy hand came down onto her shoulder and spun her around. She was face to face with a large, extraordinarily fat man in a business suit. "Well, well, well," breathed the fat man with difficulty, sounding decidedly unhealthy. "Lucky me for listening to a snitcher's tip-off." Zyra winced at the garlic breath and went for her knife. Despite his bulk, this guy was lightning quick. One doughy hand suddenly had her knife arm pinned to the wall, and another tightly clasped around her throat. Zyra's free hand desperately clung to the card-like key. "You're so fragile," wheezed the fat man. "It would take so little effort to clench my hand into a fist and crush your pretty little throat." He tightened his grip. In desperation, Zyra flailed out with her legs, kicking the fat man in the groin. He let go and doubled over. Zyra gave him another kick for good measure, and then, with the key in her hand, she ran down the stairs and out of the house. As she skipped over the trip-blazers, the fat man stuck his head out of the top-story window. He yelled some unintelligible words, and the topiary gargoyles sprang to life. "Magic!" gasped Zyra. She increased her pace, dodging around the shrubbery. After a few moments of confusion, the gargoyles gave chase. 4 of them came afoul of the trip-blazers, reduced to mulch in seconds flat. But the remaining 2 continued the pursuit. Zyra reached the wall and was over it in seconds, leaving the gargoyles to get tangled in the razor wire. She went to retrieve her jacket, only to discover that it was not there. "This what you're looking for, my pretty, pretty thieving wench?" said a familiar voice. Zyra looked up into the beady, bloodshot eyes of the cracker, and the point of a loaded crossbow. Her precious jacket was casually draped over the thief's shoulder. "You take from me after I've fairly and squarely appropriated, and now I take from you after you've appropriated." The cracker chuckled. "Ha ha! And I gain the trust of the fat man for ratting on a fellow thiever." He took a menacing step towards her. "Almost even. Just need to break a few fingers first." Tark hit the cracker over the head with the dragon's hefty sack of gold. "Told you he was dangerous," declared Tark. "Lucky I polished off me dragon nice and quick." Tark and Zyra made their way to Designer's Paradise with little difficulty. They each held up their key to the scanner on the shimmering wall. The electrostatic shield parted, revealing a squat robot attendant. Tark placed their acquired wealth onto the robot's calculation tray. 3 hours, 17 minutes, 3 seconds, the monotone voice announced as the robot disappeared into the dome. Zyra pushed Tark in ahead of her. It was like walking into static interference made tangible. They were surrounded, encased in grey, sizzling nothing, suspended in the anticipation of things to come. They could feel themselves disappearing. "Avatars?" asked a voice inside their heads. Tina Burrows and John Hayes. Game environment, suburbia. The static dissipated, as did all that made them who they were. John Hayes and Tina Burrows were standing side by side in the most mundane of suburban surroundings. Uniform weatherboard houses with neat front yards and white picket fences, clear blue sky, the scent of spring flowers on the gentle breeze, and bird song in the distance. Perfection. "What shall we do first?" asked Tina.
Thought John. How about homework? Tina nodded enthusiastically. Then maybe hang out at the mall until our time is up. Tentatively, John smiled, took hold of Tina's hand, and led her up the front path of his parents' house. And that was Game Plan, especially adapted for the Queensland Storyteller by the author George Ivanoff of Melbourne. Thank you very much indeed, George. As promised, I'm repeating George's website. It's www.gamersquestbook.com. I spell GAMERSQUESTBOOK.com.